prayer books. Shabbat Shalom. So we had a peanut butter and jelly Shabbat dinner this evening because I made a really beautiful chicken but forgot to turn the oven on. Or I thought I turned the oven on, but it turned itself off. So it is now cooked, it is now beautiful, and we'll have that tomorrow. But sometimes things don't go exactly the way we imagined. I also burned the top of the challah because the oven was too high when I thought it was like, today was lovely, but getting ready for Shabbat turned into a little bit of a frazzle. So now we'll celebrate Shabbat. It will be beautiful, and I'll be ready for all that comes tomorrow. That will be wonderful and together. Page 14, Yedid Nefesh. Reveal yourself, beloved, for the world to see. Shelter us in peace beneath your canopy. Illumine all creation, lighting up the earth, and we shall celebrate you in choruses of mirth. The time, my love, is now. Rush, be quick, be bold. Let your favor grace us in the spirit of the days of old. Page 15 for Lechun Ranana. We'll sing together, page 16.
השמיים ותגר הארץ ירח הים ואלוהו ינוס עלי בכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל עצי ההר לפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ ישפוט הבל וצדק בעמים באמונתו יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה לה לה.
Oh, this is lovely. It's nice to see not just a minyan, but it's like Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat is catching on or something. It's nice. Glad to have you. Kabbalat Shabbat is my favorite part of the week. You know, I always say it's a baby service. It's a new service. It's only a few hundred years old. Just since Sfad in the 1500s, really. Before that, Kabbalat Shabbat welcoming Shabbat was you did the Psalm 92 and Psalm 93, and then time for Mariv. And then these mystics said, you know what, wouldn't it be nice if we have this whole week of remembrance, have a psalm for each day of the week, get ourselves in the spirit, take a little bit of more time, sing together. And slowly, it found its way to the rest of the world, not just in Israel. And today, we're blessed to have it. So the interesting thing, of course, with these psalms is they're psalms about justice. Psalms of speaking of God, saying, look at this world, it's not the way it's supposed to be, can we make it better? But then we sing them with nice, cheery melodies, so they sound even more. So let's keep reading together. We'll read page 17. Adonai is sovereign, let the world rejoice. God's throne is founded on justice. Though God is clouded from view, divine justice reveals God's presence. God's lightning illumines the earth, fire consumes God's foes, mountains melt like wax before Adonai, the earth trembles. The heavens proclaim God's righteousness, all people behold God's majesty. Shame covers those who worship idols, those who take pride in revering images which must themselves bow low before God. Hearing of your judgments, Adonai, Zion exalts, and the cities of Judah rejoice. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the faithful and saves them from the wicked. Whereas Aruah la tzaddik, Lev simcha, light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Acclaim the holiness of God's name. And we'll sing together, page 18.
מזמור שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשה, הושיע לו ימינו, ולרוב קודשו, יעלונה ישועתו, לעיני הגויים גילה צדקתו, זכר נשאו באמונתו, לבית ישראל ראו כל ארצי הארץ, את ישועת אלוהינו, הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ, פיצו ורננו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וכל זמרה, בחצוצרות וכל שופר, הריעו לבני המלך אדוני, ירמיהו אלוהו, צבל ויושביה, נהרות תמחאוך, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קימה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט צדק וצדק, ועמים במישרים,
Page 19, the 99th Psalm speaks of Moses and Aaron and Samuel, who even though these were vitally important people, all had moments where God called them out and said, look, it doesn't matter that you're the prophet, doesn't matter that you're the priest, doesn't matter that you are the leader of our community. You did wrong, there's consequences for it. And God rebuked them with compassion, or responded with compassion and rebuked them for their mistakes. Something that I think all of us need a reminder of once in a while, that it doesn't matter what position we're in, sometimes we have to take responsibility, or because of that role, we have to take responsibility. So we'll sing together, praising God's mountain, praising God's presence, page 19 at the bottom.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו ונשתחוו להר קדשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
We rise, page 20, Mizmor LeDavid.
מזמור לדוד, עבור אדוני בני-אלים, עבור אדוני, כבוד לעוז, עבור אדוני, כבוד שמו ישתחוו אדוני, עד בקודש. koach ay 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 kohol Adonai be'adai kohol Adonai shover alalim v'shaper Adonai et hazayol manon v'yarkidem kemo egel Lebanon ve'Sirion kemo ve'neimim ay 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 kohol Adonai chosei labonis kohol Adonai yagil midbar yagil Adonai midbar kanis kohol Adonai cholel ayalon vayechesol yeharot upekalo kulo omer kavod ay 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 Adonai lama buyot shama yishev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz le'amo yitin Adonai yevarech amo v'shalom Yai lai lai 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 yai lai lai yai lai lai yai lai lai yai lai
You may be seated. We turn to page 21 for Lecha Dodi.
Adoni lekakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadoti lekakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela zamor zamor b'dibor echad ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad ושמו אחד לשם תפארת ולתהילה לך אדוני וכלכלה ונשמה נקבלה לך אדוני וכלכלה ונשמה נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקרן בני סוכה סוף מעשה מחשבה תהילה אדוני לכלכלה פני שבה נקבלה לך אדוני לכלכלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ויד אדוני תריצי היריש פן ארצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך אדוני לכלכלה פני שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לכלכלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום אשר רעה גם בשמחה ובתחלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך אדוני לכלכלה פני שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לכלכלה פני שבת נקבלה.
It's a nice energy tonight. You may be seated. Page 23, the song for Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב מאוד אדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב מאוד אדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וחידון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב מאוד לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. הגל המסך עליהם, מה יקנבך ימינו? אוי, ובקרם שרים לא תבואו. Sani katamani frach ke'erez balanon iske sheturim beret Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu
Page 24, the final psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat. Those who are observing a yard site or in mourning, please join with me on page 24. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemeh Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei olamayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei d'kudsha, brichum. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damaran v'yalma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'yimroma, v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. So Pirkei Avot, chapter 5, Mishnah 10, is a tough one. It says there are 7 kinds of calamity that are visited upon the world. Al Shivat Gufei Avera, over 7 classes of sins. So these, as it goes forward, it's trying to figure out, okay, this is a problem we've known since the beginning of time. Terrible things happen in the world. So where do we put the blame? Some people, in a dualistic society, well, God is good, the devil is bad, everything bad comes from the devil. Or an anti-God. In some traditions, if God is all good, but evil is a product of the world, and God is therefore also causing bad things to happen, and we're going to learn from those bad things, and it's going to teach us something, and that's another answer. Sometimes some people imagine that bad things are just random chance, and that's the way it goes. God set up the world and let it go, and we have free will, and that's the consequence of that. Things happen, some good, some bad, and we have to deal with them. Now, my answer to all of these things always is ultimately, we can't control what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. We can control how we react to what's going to happen. As we mentioned, this last couple of weeks, we had the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur thing. Some of you were there. And we had the Yonatan Tokef, and we said, Teshuvah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Mavirin, Et HaGazera. They do something to the decree. And some might once have said, well, it just sort of tears it up. But we know bad things still happen. So the rabbi said, okay, well, maybe it's not that it just gets rid of it, but maybe it changes the severity. It makes it not quite as bad. Or maybe it changes the kind of person who is doing teshuvah, who is doing tefillah, who is doing tzedakah, who is praying and who is making this world better and who is sharing kindnesses with others, is someone who's going to see something bad, and instead of just saying, oh, blankety blank, they're going to say, oh, blankety blank, how can I do something to make this better? Like Mr. Rogers, whenever something bad, look for the helpers. Okay, so let's keep going. So here are the sins, and here are the problems, and here are the sins. So a famine brought on by drought comes when some tithe and others do not, so that some go hungry while others have plenty. So we're making a nice connection here. Midah keneged midah, what goes around comes around, karma, more or less. If people are not having enough to eat because people had enough to eat and they didn't share it with the people that needed it. The Ashrei says, Poteach et yadecha u'mismilch ratzon, open up your hands and God provides. Well, if we look around the world today, God has provided. There's enough food to feed the world 100 times over. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. The problem is, where's the food? It's location, 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 as the realtor says, right? So we've got all the food we could possibly need, and we waste, 25 to 35% of it on a daily basis in most of our homes, if not more. I've got the leftover pizza that's still sitting in the fridge that we're not going to eat. And there are people in other parts of the world that would love to have my leftover pizza, because they haven't even had the chance to have first cut pizza. So we have plenty of food. It's just not necessarily where it needs to be. So it goes on, a famine of tumult brought on by drought comes when everyone resolves not to tithe. A famine of extermination comes when everyone resolves not to set aside the challah. When you make challah, you take a little piece and you put it aside, and in one point of time you would offer it to the Kohanim or to Levim or to some of the groups of people in our community, but nowadays we burn it and sort of symbolically set it aside. Pestilence comes to the world when the capital offenses enumerated in the Torah are not adjudicated in court. So we're getting, if justice is not taken care of, then more injustice will come into the world, which seems like a fairly straightforward reading. When the laws of the Shemitah year are violated, the sword descends upon the world when there is a delay of justice or a perversion of justice, and also when Torah is not interpreted according with halakha. That's an interesting one. So we can read the Torah in many different ways, right? Many non-Jews read sections of the Torah very negatively towards the Jews. They say, oh, there's that Old Testament God who's so cruel, who says, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And our tradition said, ain't never happened. We never did it that way. There was always about damages and about fines and about making sure that people had the opportunity to live their lives even after a violent crime happened to them, not that we're going to go stab someone else to make the world even. So it also says, wild beasts are set loose in the world when perjury is committed and God's name is profaned. I'm not sure I see the connection there. We'll have to look at the commentators later on. And then this one I think is very interesting. Homelessness is visited upon the peoples of the world when there is idolatry, incest, bloodshed, or a violation of the laws of Shemitah. I'm not entirely sure about the connection to Shemitah, but the idea that, again, this Mishnah seems to be suggesting that we need to be a little bit more radical in our distribution of our well-being, of making sure that people have enough to eat, enough to wear, enough to sleep under. And if we're not doing that, then we're probably also, if we're not caring about those less fortunate, then we're also probably not worried so much about who we're worshiping. We may be worshiping that God of money. People love that God. And laws of sexual morality and bloodshed just go out the window when all you care about is idolatry. I heard a great story one year that I've still never been able to find the thing, and I've been talking for a while, which is that a rabbi comes on Rosh Hashanah one year and decides to give a new sermon, and he decides to give it about idolatry. And the time comes to open the ark. They open the ark, and what comes out? The Torahs aren't there. But money starts falling out of the ark. And he said, it's a beautiful synagogue, a beautiful, everybody comes to shul dressed perfectly, very high membership dues. And he says, this is the God you worship. I don't know if he came back the next Rosh Hashanah. I don't know if it's a real story, but it sounds good. But we live in a world where, as much as we want to say idolatry is some historical, old-timey thing where people worship a little statue or something, we are very good at setting up idols today. They may not look like they used to, but when we think about where we spend all of our time, where we spend all of our money, where we spend all of our energy, then we see what our values are. And if it's only about one thing, getting more, it's a very different life than if you are trying to take care of others, something that the Torah has quite a few things to say about as the correlation that I'm seeing with all these sins are ones where we're not looking out for others. So hopefully, in the week to come, this holiday that we start on Sunday night is Sukkot. And one of the key mitzvot of Sukkot, besides building the sukkah, is ushpizin, welcoming guests. So whether you have a sukkah or whether you're celebrating in any other way, invite someone over for dinner this week and share something nice with them. Bring a little light into this world. Okay, I think I talked enough. I'm ready for Mariv. Page 28, we rise.
Baruch et Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Mevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You may be seated.
Uma miyom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzebaot shemo, El chai b'kayam, tamidim l'chaleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Baramim.
Amen.
Ahavat Olam Bet Yisrael Amcha Torah Mitzvot Ukim Mishpatim Otanu Imadeta Al Ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shot Beinu Ofkumeinu Nasiach Mechukecha V'nismach Divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam Ba'ed Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu U'mahem neged yom ha'layla yom ha'layla Ve'avatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבניך ונמהרת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכמך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 32, Emet,
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה בני ישראל החנו שירה ושמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נרר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך רובנך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי אנו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי יפאר אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 33, we'll read in the bottom right-hand corner. O God, you are consolation to your creatures. For moments of forgetting, we would call to mind your care, and we are comforted. When we hope no more, a pattern in the snow reminds us of your loving kindness. Your dawns give us confidence, and sleep is a friend. Our sorrows dissipate in the presence of an infant's smile, and old men's words revive our will to wish. Your hints are everywhere, your signals in the most remote of places. You are here, we fail words to say, Ma Tov. How good our breath, our rushing energies, our silences of love. On page 34, we rise for Vishamru and the Chatzi Kaddish, and then from 35 through 38, we take time for our personal prayer, thanking God for the gift of Shabbat.
משמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת בואי נפש, שבת בואי נפש, שבת בואי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ויעמד ג'ברה כרותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחיי כל יום וימיך, וחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמרה ומבורך, לעולם יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלך, שמי קודשם בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכנה ושירתה, תושבחתה ולחם אתה, דמירן בעלמם, ואמרו Amen.
We are now back to our normal Amidah for Shabbat, no additions today. Finished your personal prayer. We turn to page 47 for Vaychulu.
ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא עליון קונה שמיים הארץ מגן אבות בדברו מחיה מתים למאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעון הברכות אל ההונאות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שני ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית.
At the top of page 48 in English, our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest. Instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so we might serve you faithfully, lovingly, and willingly. Adonai, our God, grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people Israel who hallow your name will always find rest on this day. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
יתקרא מקרא שמי רבה
אמן.
בעלמא דברה קילותי וימליך וכותב בחיי חולם בימי חולם גיינו בישראל בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעולמי יתברך יתברך וישתבח פרצה וינשא וינר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה ברכו לאלה מן כל מגעתם שירתה תשבגתה ונגמתה דמירה מעלמה ואמרו אמן תתקבל צללבת עונה ישראל קדם אבות וישמעיה ואמרו אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Kedusha for Shabbat, page 49.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddush lanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh bereshit, ki hu yom tzechila le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki anu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Turn to page 51 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shameach l'adon ha'kol, latet gdula yotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzon, velo samanu k'mishmechot ha'adamah, shelo sam kachenu lahem, v'goraleinu kechol ha'monah. Banachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim leyoser haaretz u'moshav yikarov b'shamayim imah u'shchinatu zo b'govei meromim hu Eloheinu Einod eretz malkeinu eretz zulato k'katuv b'torah v'yadata hayom lahashemot ha'el levanecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imah ve'haaretz ve'haaretz mitachatenu Einod. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech ha'kol ha'aretz, bayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad, u'shmo echad.
You may be seated. Today we've been thinking of Sylvia Heschelo, Woody Reiskin, Louis Scher, Jenny Cohen, Sylvia Heschelo, Doris Warren, and Max Rubenstein. And this week, tonight, we have lit the candle for Mildred Applefield, David Allen Halperin, Rose Berger, and Irving Yitzhak Green. And beginning on Sunday, Joan Benstock, Rachel Gervey, William Locks, Arthur Salkman, George Green, Molly Edelstein Avery, Irving Jacobson, Lee Colbert, Walter Breslov Jr., Paul Sohor, Naomi Sohor, Harry Janofsky, Martin L. Diamond, Nathaniel Friedberg, Tessie Rosenberg, Edith Jagendorf Gitman, Helen Applefield, Pearl Abrams, Rita R. Aronson, Anna Levitt, Pearl Asnier, George Vorab, Karen Dinsfriend, Herbert Friedlander, Al Greengold, Rachel Leah Robinson, Harry Fishman, Seymour Jonathan Goldberg, Sylvia O. Marks, Melvin Weissman, Sylvia Rose Mellitz, and Louis Sternberg. In their memory, we praise God's name on page 52. If you're observing a yahrzeit or in mourning, please join with me. Yitzgadal, v'yitzkadash, Shmei Rabbah. Bi'alma divrach chirotei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomachon, v'chayei t'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Shmei d'kudsha, brichu. La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damaran v'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
So this week is a busy one. And yes, I have it on here. So we have tomorrow morning we'll have normal Shabbat services, and then Sunday morning we'll be in person and on Zoom, and then Sunday evening we're actually just going to do on Zoom so everyone can enjoy being in their sukkah. Monday and Tuesday morning for the first 2 days of Sukkot, we'll have services here in the sanctuary, and with the streaming, no Zoom on Monday or Tuesday at all. Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, is the Sisterhood's Groovy Girls Membership Dinner. And this Wednesday is Suds in the Sukkah. And this Friday, next Friday, is our Shabbat Sukkah dinner. Reservations, I think, are closed. So it looks like they're trying to give us a tiny window on Sunday, your last chance. But please, please RSVP. If you can't make it to dinner, just so you know, next week's services are going to be earlier. They're going to be at 5:30 instead of 6:30. So next week, come early. And then it will be time for Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, Hadassah Walkathon on October 30th. So it is a very busy and wonderful week, and looking forward to the Samachta V'chagecha, being rejoicing and being happy for the joy of Sukkot. And I think the hardest thing about Sukkot is that it comes right after Yom Kippur. So it doesn't get as much attention because we just had Rosh Hashanah, we now had Yom Kippur, and now everyone Sukkot is like the forgotten holiday. But it's the best one. So come back. Answer you too. Yigdal, page 53.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא באמת על מציאותו אחד בן יחיד כייחודו נעלם גם אין סוף לאחדותו אינו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו כמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון בראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אלא הנשא סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמשה הנביא ומביט את אמונתו תורת אמת נתן לעמו היה ראיון נאמן ביתו לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומל איש חסד כמפעלו נותן רשע רק קלישתו ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו לפתור מחקקת ישועתו מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו ברוך הריח שם תהילתו מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו ברוך
From Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, my God, have compassion on us and help us always to yearn to live a holy life, to each day find some sparks of holiness in the world. Help us as we turn inward to express our yearning for you, and help us in our going out to uncover your presence in the world. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Yeah.